Welcome to Xtra presented by VDG Sports. I am your host, Vince Douglas Gregory. No filter, very censored. Do not judge a book by its cover. Don't do it. Make sure you open it up. Make sure you read every single page and you have an understanding. Then you can judge. Even though there's still a no judge zone. No judge zone. I'm just going to share my experience, hopefully my observations, and everything at that time that was wild, difficult, annoying, strange for me. I did something that would come off as brave from the outside looking in and not really understanding. You can just look at it and be like, oh, that was brave. That was wow. Oh, cool story, bro. Yeah, it's one of those. Or just from the outside looking in and just from hearing it, you can come away from it as you took a risk, was successful with that risk, and here you are. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't any difficulties, any hardship, or anything that had me shook, rattled, and rolled during the process. Because I was all of the above. I was all of the above. But from the outside looking in, it seemed as if I had it all together. It seems as if I was just brave. It seems as if I knew I was going to succeed. I knew I was going to win. Sure, that was the end game. Succeeding, winning, and having that in the back of my mind, doing everything that I need to do to accomplish what I set out to do at that time and for that occasion. That doesn't necessarily mean that I didn't have sleepless nights. I wasn't freaked out. I wasn't anxious, because I was. And the brave thing was moving across the country, going to a place to where I knew no one, and starting over from nothing to something from scratch. Yeah, it seems like, wow, you were courageous. Ooh, that was brave. Ooh. And all the other things that can go along with that. But I was frightened out of my mind. And I would definitely say that I had a few, I guess, miniature advantages, if I can call it that, whereas I did have enough saved up. And if I were unable to make moves or eventually do what I needed to do, there were other backup mechanisms in place that I could have reached out to, or that I could have asked for help and what have you. But for the most part, I was definitely on my own, and what I had was what I had, and everything else was just okay, it's unknown, and let's figure it out. It is unknown. Let's figure it out. And that is definitely something that had me all over the map, all over the place. I mean, the first couple of months, or let's go, not even the first couple of months. Let's go past that. Let's say the first three to 4 months. The first 3 to 4 months, I was so shook, shaken. It was hard and it was difficult for me to leave my place. Yeah, I know, right? It's like, and I built up justifications. I built up reasons of why not to leave. And so I created this cycle, and the cycle was feeding itself. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything because I really don't have the money just yet. And that became my excuse. And that became something where I could just easily say no. And then I can easily say no. It just brings about more no's. And more no's is, all right, I don't want to hang out. Cause I did eventually make friends, right? But still not being comfortable and having so much other baggage and having so much other things to deal with. It just made me a little bit not social. It just made me a little bit reclusive. It just made me to the point where I didn't want to leave my room. And it wasn't because I was trying to save up money. Granted, that was the excuse. That was the baked in excuse to the vicious cycle. It was more or less that I was scared. I was terrified. I was frightened of more unknown being thrust upon me at this moment in time where I'm already faced with so many unknowns, and it's just a little bit too much for me to bear, too much for me to handle. And I chose not to talk to one about this, which was a huge, huge mistake. And I'm glad that I was able to get through that situation. I was able to get through that point in time without any major damage. But there was some damage. There was some damage done because I missed out on that time. I missed out on a lot of things. Do I look back and have regrets on some of the things that I missed out on? No. Because I knew how I felt then. It was scary. But scary how? Scary why? You just up and went all the way across to the other side of the country, planet, world. All right, we're gonna settle with country. We're gonna settle for country. The other side of the planet. Oh wait, country. He said planet. He meant country. The other side of the country. Not knowing anybody. No friends, no nothing, nah. Then I eventually do that, have that. But instead of socializing, instead of hanging out and doing what I would normally do in that situation, I just wanted to be not necessarily alone because I still had my roommate and I still had my friends that I hung out with when I went somewhere in particular, but when it was time to, let's say, have company, have people over or do something like that, I just shot up the deuces, shot up the two fingers, like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do this. I just can't do it. And it wasn't because I really, really couldn't do it. And it wasn't because of all the reasons that I was given, the justifications that I was getting. It was mainly because it was more unknown. And I didn't feel like where I was staying and living at the time was a place that I can really and truly call home just yet. It just didn't feel that way. I felt like a stranger within my own dwelling. So when others came over, when others were invited over, I just felt like that I needed to be, hello, hi, how you doing? Okay, all right. I'm off to my room, to my own devices, or I'm going to go somewhere else and just kick it there and not necessarily be at home for this. And it wasn't like that it was bad and nefarious things that was taking place. It wasn't like that. It was bad and nefarious things taking place inside my home, inside where I resided, and therefore I needed to escape and get away. No, it wasn't that. It was more or less. It just didn't feel right. I feel uncomfortable. It's not good. 3 to 4 months. And those same new friends and new peeps that I was meeting, all they could see and all they could understand was the bravery. All they can see and understand was, wow, you did something that I could not do. I'd be scared out of my brains on what could happen or what wouldn't happen. Oh, trust me. I do feel that, or I did feel some versions of that. I did feel some versions of that. But I didn't talk it out. I didn't communicate this with anyone. I just kept it bottled in, and thank goodness it didn't continue on, and that feeling kind of subsided, and I came to, and the whole unknown was just something I wasn't concerned about anymore, because as more time went by and as I got more comfortable, things were just starting to move along and work out. And so I eventually got out of that. I eventually found my center, found my bearings, and was able to not do that anymore and be okay and be comfortable and feel like home is home and I'm not a stranger within the place where I reside. But that didn't happen overnight. And there were steps forward and there were steps back and there were steps sideways and it was running in circles. And then it's just one time and just one day, I can't really pinpoint it. It just all of a sudden, voila. Oh, I feel, okay, this all right. All right, I can, yeah, let's have some people over. Sure. Let's have a kickback. All right, I can do that. Yeah, the after party can be here. And all of the other things that normal, or I shouldn't say normal, and all the things that you would want to do or that you would feel comfortable doing within your own home. That. And so That's why I say judging a book by its cover or judging period, the judge zone, it's something that you probably should at least be aware that maybe things ain't what they seem or appear to be. Be aware that it can be the complete opposite, or this can provide more evidence, more input to what it really is, and go from there. But just having a little bit of information and just seeing a little bit and jumping to a conclusion from there, it really ain't that good. More often than not, you're going to be wrong. You're going to be very, very wrong. But it also go to show that nothing really stays the same, like that there is no quicksand of life that's just going to keep you stuck unless you are the quicksand. Unless you are your quicksand. There is someone or some people or others that have or will experience what you have. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to share. It really, really is. It really is. And that would probably be the only thing that I can think about with that situation. Sure, I definitely wish I would have told more people and wouldn't have fought that battle by myself. And thank goodness I was able to win that battle. But it's definitely something that I learned from, as far as with how I am, period, as a human being, and how just talking, sharing your experience, getting actual help helps. You know, some little small things like that. Or just maybe not taking the risk to begin with. But hey. That wasn't in the cards. That was not in the cards. Because not doing that, period, that was a greater fear than actually doing it. But that's a different story for another time. Thank you for listening. Be sure to check out the website, xtra.vdgsports.com. That is xtra.vdgsports.com. This episode is not being sponsored by VinceDouglasGregory.com. VinceDouglasGregory.com is where you can keep up with me, my whereabouts, my well-being, all things Vince. There's a YouTube as well. Like, subscribe, share, or do whatever it is you do there. Oh, comment too, if you must, if you may. That's VDG Sports, the YouTube. You know what time it is. Peace. Out.